HelloFresh for breakfast? Yep, it's a thing. And I'm going to go ahead and cook up the chorizo spiced kale and pepper hash for you. Hi, I'm Nicole, and I love HelloFresh. I use it all the time. I've got a whole bunch of videos on it. And they introduced breakfast a few months ago, and here and there I've been adding a breakfast into my mix of what I'm cooking, so I thought I'd share one with you. Today we're going to make the chorizo spiced kale and pepper hash. So if you're not familiar with HelloFresh, it comes in a big box with ice and the meat separate from the other items. Other items are packaged in a box. Since the shooting of this video, HelloFresh has now switched to bags. So when you need to cook, you just pull this puppy out and everything you need is in here other than the meats, which of course, you know, were separate so they stay extra cold from all the produce and other items. And HelloFresh pricing wise, it really depends on if you're getting, you know, 3 meals a week for 2 people or 4 meals a week for 4 people. I mean, there's all these different combinations. So there's vegetarian and there's the family box and different ones, but it could range from probably around like $60 or $70 a week to I think about $129 or possibly more when you're going to the 4-day-a-week options that are now available. But I'll put the information down below where you can go check it out. I do have a coupon code also, which will get you $40 off of your first box. I get credit if you use it, but you can cancel right away. So, you know, if you don't like that first one, you're just done. So anyhow, let's move on now to what you get. If you want to see an unboxing from the big box, I've got plenty of videos. I'll put, you know, a little info thing right here right now so you can click on that if you want to see that. But this time we're just going to dive right into breakfast, which is kind of a new thing. I've made probably 5 breakfast recipes now. And they can sometimes be pretty quick, like there's more of a breakfast sandwich with some potatoes on the side. I think it was potatoes on the side. That was fairly quick. This one that we're going to make is 40 minutes. So I think that for most people, this would be more of a weekend breakfast. Every time you get any recipe from them, you get a recipe card. These recipes are also available online. You can go and download all the recipes you want for free from their website, and there are some amazing ones. So even if you never, ever, ever decided to subscribe, the recipes are really, really, really good. So I'd highly recommend you check those out. And if you watch some of my other videos, you can see which ones. I mean, they've all been really, really good. And there are some that are just like, oh my gosh, this is better than the restaurant. In fact, we had one the other night like that chicken one that I should just remake that recipe on my channel for you guys, having nothing to do with HelloFresh because it was so good. So this one here, this one, they show you what it's supposed to look like when it's all done. And then on the back, it'll tell you, you know, what you should have. A large pot, large pan, slotted spoon, and some oil. Oil, salt, pepper, butter, sugar are really the only things you need to supply. They'll supply everything else you need to make the meal. Then it'll tell you what the ingredients are, what you'd use for 2 people and for 4. My box is for 4 people here. And then on the front, it will show you pictures of each item. So if you are a new cook and there's some sort of more exotic ingredient, you'll be able to identify it, which is very, very handy. One subscription box I have, I used to have to kind of Google and figure out what things were, but they've been able to start labeling now, so that's been good. All right, so let's get started. I will unbox this so you can see what's inside. Starting out, we've got 2 bags of kale. For 4 people, you get double what's in the boxes for 2. So this would be for 2, this is for 4. Then we have a couple bell peppers. And then we have our spices, and it's really nice because everything, you know, spice-wise is individually measured so that you don't have any waste. I mean, you know, we've all gone and bought. Sorry, it's Friday. It's late. I'm a little tired from the week. We've all purchased spices before where you buy a big, you know, I don't know, jar of something because that's the only way you can buy it, and then you use a little bit of it, and then 2 years later you throw it away, right? So here we have, what is this here? Chorizo seasoning, and each one of these is 1 tablespoon. So I'll know that's exactly 2 tablespoons, which is probably what I'll need. And then you've got some garlic, and there's sour cream. There's, you know, a couple of these little guys in here. And then I'm just gonna hold this up so I don't have to sit here and unbox it. But this is lemons, potatoes, and lemons and sweet potatoes and onions in here. Whoa, don't roll away. So this one was kind of heavy. All right, so I'm going to start out by prepping everything. I won't make you watch me sit there chopping things. They are saying that it'll take about 15 minutes to prep. I'm going to go ahead and wash and dry my produce, cut up the gold and sweet potatoes into half-inch cubes, and I will put them in a large pot, which I have ready to go back there because I knew ahead of time. Cover them with water and let them boil. And then we will be cooking our chorizo. So let me chop up everything else that I need to chop up, like the bell peppers And do I need to do anything to my kale other than wash it? Yes, I need to get rid of the stems and large ribs. Half my lemon, so I'll be right back with all that done. I'm all done chopping. I went ahead and diced the onions, and I used the food processor to do that because it is far faster. Sliced up the lemon. I only sliced up one. I'm going to save the other one for tomorrow because my husband and I, it's just two of us today, will not be able to eat this entire thing in one sitting. And then diced up the potatoes, crushed up the garlic, chopped up the bell peppers, and, whoops, took the kale, got the ribs off of it, and cut it into bite-sized pieces. Now on the stove behind me are the cubed up sweet potatoes that are boiling. I got that started while I was doing the rest of this so that I could kind of keep things moving along. Next we'll cook the chorizo. Each of these are 6 ounces, so I have 12 ounces total. I will go ahead and just take a bit of olive oil. I'm going to just drizzle it into my pan, and we'll brown that. I like to keep some scissors around because it makes it very handy to open these packages. Oftentimes, you know, you've got your meats, you've got your spices, and all different types of things like that that you're often trying to get out of packages. So it's just easier. Usually I will open things first that are not meat because then I can throw these. They're washable, they come apart. Just in case you don't have a lot of kitchen tools, it's very handy to have scissors that come apart like this that you can throw into the dishwasher. And you know, they're not expensive. I mean, obviously you could spend a ton of money on them, or you know, you could just probably go to Ross or Marshall's and find some there that are not expensive because they're just scissors, and you know, you don't need high-end for that unless your kitchen budget allows. Okay, now we'll put the chorizo in the pan, and I'm going to go ahead and brown that. That's kind of a cool thing about these recipes. You start to learn, you know, kind of some different food techniques. I've been cooking since I was 13, like heavy duty. Like I like going up to eat, and I would cook all the time. But I'm still learning stuff all the time, just because these recipes kind of introduce you to new ways of doing things. I saw an ad that they had recently. I was cracking up. They're like, it's the best cooking class, and honestly, I really think it is. Because I'm even still learning stuff. And I thought I knew most everything. One of my secret dreams is to go to a culinary school sometime and take the, you know, kind of full-on course to be a chef because I just love cooking so much, especially the baking part. Oh my god. One other kitchen tool I really like is this. It keeps the oil from splattering. And I got this at Costco, and it's really nice because it holds down for storage really well. Some of the other ones that I've had in the past, they would stay like this and they were huge. A lot of times they even went out further, so I really like this. And it has kind of like a rubberized outer edge so you will not scrape your pots and pans. The chorizo is cooked up really nicely, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to remove the chorizo from the oil, leaving as much oil in the pan as I can because we are going to cook our vegetables in it. Now they said to use a slotted spoon, but I'm actually using a slotted spatula because I find it easier to pick this up. It's very, very small pieces, and I don't know, the slotted spoon that I have, I think I have trouble really getting to the edges here. So just go ahead and keep scooping this out. I was just checking my sweet potatoes and I realized that I did something wrong. I should have cooked the potatoes in there with them, but you know what? I'm not going to stress out because I have a solution. Even though these are done now, I still have a couple other things to do before I have to deal with the potatoes. So I'm just going to use a slotted spoon this time, take the sweet potatoes out, and then go ahead and just use that hot water to boil the potatoes. It'll go much faster because I already have the water hot. So, you know, things happen, we just adjust. I did read the recipe first too. It's Friday again. It's late. Oh well. I'm just going to go ahead and scoop these puppies out this way to save my hot water. Most kitchen issues that you have are fairly solvable. Also, I peeled these because even though I don't think it specifically said that you should, I just like to because I feel like the sweet potato skin is too tough. So I peeled these, but I did not peel the other little yellow potatoes because their skin is so much thinner and more tender. And in go the regular potatoes. So now we're going to go ahead and take the bell peppers and the onions. And then I'm going to use a different pair of scissors. So I use those other ones on the meat. I usually give these a little shake. then we'll saute this for 3 to 5 minutes. I'm going to switch over to a larger pan because I didn't think about the fact that all that kale has to fit in here too, plus the potatoes. This will never fit. If you don't have a larger kind of a wok type of a pan, I would just use a pot. So now we'll go ahead and toss in the kale. Hopefully this will all fit. It'll shrink down to nothing. I mean, seriously, this will end up being probably like, you know, a half cup of kale once it's cooked down. But to start with, there we go. It'll all fit. Now, watch the amazing shrinking kale. All right, I'm supposed to season this with salt and pepper. We're still cooking the kale, but it was just too big before for me to do this where I could coat things evenly. So I'm going to just add some pepper. I'm going to add some salt, not too much because chorizo is salty, so I'd rather err on the side of less salt to start with. So, still cooking this for a few more minutes. Next, we're supposed to add a drizzle of olive oil. I'll be generous with that. And then we're going to add our sweet potatoes and our potatoes. This is making a really big pan of food here. We're going to go ahead and stir this up until the potatoes are a little bit more done and crispy. And that will be about 3 to 5 minutes. All right, so now we're going to season with some salt and pepper. And we're going to add our garlic in. We'll just toss that for a little bit till it's fragrant. I think we are done. We're just going to add a few squeezes of lemon in here. And then we're going to serve with more lemon slices so people, my husband and I, can add more lemon if we want. And just so you can see for size, I'll put a quarter of this on. Probably, but yeah, wow. That's a lot of food. Put some chorizo on top. And then we'll garnish with sour cream. All right, so here it is all finished up. I'm going to taste it now and let's see if it is delicious or just okay. I'm gonna try to get a little bit of everything on here. Kale, chorizo, some of the sour cream. All right, here goes. That's really good. I like the combination of regular potatoes with the sweetness of the sweet potato, the onion with the sweetness of the bell pepper. The chorizo adds that, you know, hint of kind of salty sausaginess to it. This is really good. I think this would definitely be a recipe I would make again. I think this would be great if you did all the chopping the night before and you've got a big crowd for breakfast, like when we have everyone stay for Christmas or Thanksgiving. This would be something kind of good, and maybe you could even make it kind of into a casserole and then bake it and have it ready. You know, do your sauteing and then put it in a casserole pan and then heat it up the next morning. I think that'd be fantastic. So I'm going to eat this now, serve some to my husband. So I hope you enjoyed this video and got a little rundown on what breakfast with HelloFresh is like. They've got all different kinds of recipes. Some have eggs, some don't, some, oh, I had the best lemon ricotta pancakes. They were really good. Go look for that recipe online there. Those were delicious. And some of them are much faster to make than this. This said 40 minutes. It took me more like 50. I mean, I know I have the camera on and off kind of a thing, but I was trying to account for that. So give yourself a little extra time if you're making any of these recipes just in case. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Bon appetit!